Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Proline. It is the best time of year to be a college basketball fan and a college basketball bettor as well. The conference tournaments are taking over center stage. We get the big games just around the corner. A lot of excitement out there and a lot of big games, a lot of them coming right down to the wire as well. Jim Feist is here, John Creighton as well. I'm Dave Kochen. We are glad that you are joining us, and we'll try and shed some light on a couple of the top conferences in the country today as we look at the Big Ten and the Big 12. But before we do that, let's talk about what we've got going on this weekend. Some great special offers. Jim, Shadow Shocker Game of the Year, as easy as it gets with Virginia, and more good stuff coming up this weekend.
Absolutely, Dave. We got a 3-game basketball parlay going on Saturday. College Rivalry Game of the Year, and 2 other plays as well. That's $200 online, but you can get it for 9 small grocery dollars by calling 1-866-841-1655. I hit my Shadow Shocker last week with Virginia over Syracuse. That was easy. Last night, I hit with Georgetown, another easy winner. Houston Rockets was 2-1 with my 3-team value package. And I bet Oregon. I laid 6. I won that. It did go up to 7, so it was a push for some people, but a winner for most. So, I mean, it's been really, really good. There's a little bit of different twist in how you handicap these last couple of weeks before the tournaments, but I've been doing it 45 years, and I think you know the tricks after that length of time. Otherwise, if you don't know the tricks after that length of time, you're broke. So you want to not go broke. Here's what you want to do. You want to pick up the phone, call 1-866-841-1655. Of course, you can always buy right here online, but you get 3-0 guarantee, or you play the tournament for free, and by calling right now, you get a high roller play going tonight. That's 1-866-841-1655. 9 small grocery dollars, not 900, not 90, $9.
Well, I have, last 3 weeks, I've run my 3 big games, and they all got there. The Game of the Year was 3 weeks ago. Baylor took them a while, but they got the job done in their game. And my Dog of the Year was 2 weeks ago. Ohio University goes wire to wire in a 16-point win as an underdog. And last week, I had my Revenge Game of the Year, and you sure wouldn't have liked the early part of it. Boise State, they fall behind 17-2 at Wyoming, and then they just absolutely killed the team after that. So that was an easy winner. That's it for the big games of the year until the biggest of them all comes, which is my Tournament Game of the Year. That's an absolute monster, and you're going to get that as part of my March Madness package that I've got up right now, and this is absolutely a fantastic offer. If you want value, you're not going to do any better than this. There's no hype here, okay? This is just a simple package that I put together that's going to get you the rest of my action plays in college basketball right through the NCAA tournament. That's on April 7th, so you're talking about more than a month there. Plus, I'm going to include the first month of baseball. That's right, you're going to get my early baseball, first month of baseball included as well. $49 for all that. That's an extraordinary offer, so it's real simple. If you like making money, this is an offer you have to take advantage of. If you've never been on with me, I can't think of a better time to take advantage of an offer that's not going to cost you much. You're going to get a ton of action, and I am absolutely positive you're going to be pleased with the results. Do very well at this time of year, crushed it in the tournaments last year, and we're off to a good start already this year with the one tournament that got underway already. So get in. 1-866-896-1629 is the number. Zeus is very excited. I hear him in the background there, Jim. 1-866-896-1629. And
Dave, it never fails. When we're doing the taping of any show, or I'm on the phone, the entire dog neighborhood starts going. It's unbelievable.
All right, speaking of, well, this is not unbelievable. It's just another good run for Mr. Vegas, John. 3-0 conference game of the month run and a tourney special on tap from Mr. Vegas.
Yeah, I think Zeus is crying about that dog of the month we had on Wisconsin a couple of weeks ago, which a straight-up winner over Iowa. Dave, you mentioned that this is the time of year where things are going to go crazy right through April 7th. Well, Mr. Vegas is on top of that. You can play for $35 with him right through the title game. April 7th is going to include a pair of games of the month, one in the NBA and one in college, going this weekend, a 3-1 run with those games of the month. 1-866-896-1627.
All right, let's get to our Twitter question of the week. This is where you guys get involved. Send us a question to Twitter. Follow us there at Jim Feist Sports or on Facebook at Proline TV. Either way, if we choose your question, you'll get put into a drawing to win $100 worth of plays from a handicapper of your choice. The question we got this week was, it's a good, simple question. I like it. Who's going to come out of the Big Ten tourney? Jim, I know who I like. I have a feeling we like the same team. I'll make that we've got the same team coming out of this tournament, about a 5-1 favorite.
Okay, I hate to hedge my bets here, but I think Michigan has played very solid all year long, and they've done some things with that. I really didn't expect them to be all this good. Michigan State's been a disappointment for the most part in some games where I thought they would do better, and they've not. Iowa's up-tempo team doesn't play any defense. Wisconsin is probably the biggest threat to the Michigan State people of anybody here, because Bo Ryan, tremendous experience. When this team's playing well, they're very hard to beat. My number one choice would be Michigan. My number two choice would be Wisconsin.
Well, I agree with Michigan. From Michigan State, they have no chemistry, and this is, the problem. I don't care who the coach is. If you can't get the same lineup out there ever, it's tough to get chemistry.
Right.
This team's they've had injury issues from day one this season, and it's taken its toll. So I don't know that I think Michigan State could be more dangerous in the NCAA tournament if they can get a few games under their belt in the meantime together. But I don't even know if that's going to happen. So, they're a good team, but I just think I really can't see them winning this conference tournament. Iowa, you hit it on the nose, Jim D. They don't play any defense. They're soft. That's a soft basketball team. I hate using that expression, but they just are. You can push them all over the court, and I don't think they can beat anybody who's going to give them a bad time physically. Wisconsin, to me, would certainly be the most dangerous of the rest. I'll give you a team to keep an eye on, though. If you want a dark horse, Minnesota has played some good basketball. Richard Pitino, he's done a nice job with this squad, and they might not be ready yet, but, boy, they're heading in the right direction. Ohio State, they just don't have much offense. It comes down to that. I mean, the Buckeyes are a tenacious defensive squad. They play great basketball on one end of the court, but they have a lot of trouble creating their offense. That you would think is going to get them. It's going to make the task very difficult for them come conference tournament time. Nebraska, I think Miles is arguably the coach of the year in college basketball. He's done a phenomenal job with the Cornhuskers, but they're not good enough to make a run and win this entire tournament. I know it's just chalky as hell, John, but I think Michigan is going to come out of this tournament, and I think Michigan's playing in the Final Four as well. So, I'm going chalk as far as that goes.
I'm going to go with a little bit of an underdog in Michigan State. I love their defense, their experience in that front court. I understand they have been shaky, but this coming up tournament will be able to see how important that experience, the coaching staff, and their rebounding is. Another team that I'm going to take a look at is Iowa. And, the Hawkeyes were supposed to have a good team coming into the season because 9 of the top 10 scorers were back. It is a veteran team, and they have been great, already hitting the 20-win mark. They have a terrific playmaker in the senior point guard, Roy Marble, 17 points per game. And they've been one of the top teams in the nation in scoring all year long, currently ranked 5th. They play an up-tempo style. However, there are some drawbacks, though. The defense has been soft much of the year and seems to be getting worse down the stretch. They're currently 10th in the conference in field goal shooting defense allowed. They're dead last in the Big Ten in points allowed. That's a problem that really is going to come forward during the tournament. Free throws are ranked 7th, and they've really been shaky much of the season. That is another concern. And we saw all those concerns recently. A 3-game losing trip late in the season. Wisconsin, the game was at home. Wisconsin scored 79 points on them. They went to Minnesota, gave up 95, lost that one. And then they went to Indiana, gave up 93 points. So they gave up 61% shooting to Minnesota, 51 to Indiana. And in that game, they scored 52 first-half points, had the lead, but still couldn't hold it. So I don't think they're going to make a strong tournament run, but for people who like to play totals, Iowa's a team that's going to run and gun and have some trouble giving up points during the tournament, Dave.
Yeah, it's the other thing that goes into selecting Michigan for me. I think Izzo has no, there's nobody better than he is. But again, I just wonder, but the team you not had this team together enough for them to be as cohesive as they need to be. And Michigan with Beeline, I don't think there's a better game coach than John Beeline. This guy is, I followed him for years, even going back to his days at Canisius. And just an outstanding coach, did a great job at Richmond. And now he's getting a chance to work with the big-time athletes at Michigan. And he's shown that he can coach any level player and get the absolute max out of him. To me, they are not only, I think they've pulled clear of the rest of this conference. I mean, I don't think it's that close. I think they are absolutely the best team in the Big Ten. And, I'll tell you what, close games, you're good at those too. Not everybody plays great every night. You have to be able to get there when you're not playing your best. And that's what Michigan's been able to do. So I think it's an upset at this point, guys. If they don't win this conference tournament, I think it's an upset.
I think they're the favorite, Dave. But let me ask you one question. One of the things that we run into in tournaments is depth. How many players do they play, and how, can they handle the frequency of the games that they play? For the styles, when you get a running team like an Iowa, and you play a few games in a couple days, that can wear on you, especially when you're not playing any defense. But Michigan State, Wisconsin, they all know how to play some defense. Which team do you think has the best depth for sustaining, a number of games in a very few days? Well,
that's probably not Michigan because they lost the big kid early in the season. He's not coming back, obviously. I think it depends who you match up against, too. If you have to match up against Ohio State and then come out and play somebody the next day, good luck. Because Ohio State is just, Iowa, I'd rather play Iowa. To me, takes nothing out of you because Iowa doesn't defend. So you're just running up and down the court. But Ohio State, you have to scramble for every single basket against them. They're just hell to play on defense. The Buckeyes might not be able to create much on offense, but they are going to make you work for every basket you get. So to me, until you know the seeding, it's tough to say who's going to be impacted most by the back-to-back stuff. But I wouldn't say Michigan has the most depth, but certainly neither does Michigan State because of the fact that they basically haven't had guys in the court together all season. I think Wisconsin might actually have the most depth. And they are a dangerous team. So if I were to pick anybody else in this conference, that's who it would be, Wisconsin. And certainly they've got, Bo Ryan is going to play that style. That's never going to be easy. So.
Well, in the beginning, Dave, in the beginning you said we probably had the same teams. In the end, we're talking about Michigan and Wisconsin, so we do have the same teams.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, to me it's a first and second choice. I just don't see anybody else in that league. John, do you see anybody else who can actually win the Big Ten tournament without it being called a huge upset?
As long as we're on that subject, we might as well throw in some sleeper teams, and for me it will be Ohio State. And it's not a team that relies on one guy to carry the load. They got nice balance, and they have surprising experience with the junior Amir Williams and Quentin Ross, also a junior, and then Lenzel Smith, the senior. And then, as you mentioned, Dave, the defense is just phenomenal. They're tops in the conference.
It's tough.
Yeah, 62 points per game, number one. Their three-point shooting defense is also tough, just 29%. As you mentioned, they make you work for everything. And, they have had some bumps along the way, especially mid-season, recovered a bit, winning 7 out of 10. But they're a team that is going to be involved in low-scoring, close games. And if you get a few breaks in 3 games in 3 nights, winning those close games with the experience they have. Yeah, I could see a team like Ohio State surprising even the top teams.
Yeah, and Mata's a good tournament coach, so, if you're looking to take longer odds, I suppose that's a consideration right there. That's the key. From a betting standpoint, I don't know that I don't think Michigan's worth a bet because they're going to be the favorite. I don't think Wisconsin necessarily is going to be worth a bet unless, I don't know what the price is, but unless I'm getting like 4-1, I wouldn't consider them, and I don't think it's going to be there. So, if you're going to go for value, I suppose Ohio State might offer some, but I just don't know that they can win it. We're going to look at the Big 12.
The bottom line is this conference is going to be very wide open, and it's going to have some excellent games in this conference. It should be very interesting. Yeah.
That's what makes and the other thing you always have to factor in, by the way, and this is something that you want to try and get a feel for it, which you can often do early in the tournament. Which teams, and this doesn't apply to the Big Ten, it applies to every conference. Every conference where you've got teams that have already made it to the NCAA tournament. Even if they lose their first game. Sometimes it takes the edge off a team, whereas a team that has to win their way into the NCAA tournament might be a live dog. And that's something to watch for in some conferences as well. The problem in the Big Ten is, I think we know who's in. It's maybe Nebraska and Indiana could be teams that are on the bubble and might need to win games. So that's something. Wait till the dust settles at the end of the regular season and see what that looks like going into the conference tournament.